What's going on, everybody? So I want to make this video to give a preview of the Florida Gators versus Oregon State Beavers Vegas Bowl this Saturday. The Florida Gators just released their depth chart, so I want to take a look at it. And I told y'all in my last video I was going to put something in the background because I didn't want to just see this wall. So I told y'all I was going to put something there, and I did. Hopefully y'all like it. So let's take a look at this Florida Gators roster or this depth chart for the Las Vegas Bowl. So the wide receivers, you're going to have Xavier Henderson, so he's back from injury. You're going to have Caleb Douglas, and my favorite receiver, Ricky Pearsall. I think that's everybody's favorite receiver. I've liked him from day one whenever he transferred from Arizona State. Thought he was a steal. He has proven that right. So he's still a junior. Hopefully he comes back. I expect him to. So the offensive line is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So after looking at the roster, looking at the depth chart, there's still a lot of starters still on this offensive line. Richard Garage, Ethan White, Kingsley Ukugan, I think I'm saying that last name right, Cameron Waits, and Michael Tarquin. Those are still five really good offensive lines. Remember, the Florida Gators have one of the best offensive lines in the SEC. So, you're losing Osiris Torrance, by far your best offensive line, first round pick. And I do not fault him for going pro and opting out of the bowl game. Have no problems with that. But the offensive line is still going to be fine. You're still going to have your two stud running backs, Montrell Johnson, Trevor Etienne. And those guys can run behind that offensive line. At the tight end position, you're going to have Dante Zanders and then Jonathan Odom. Arliss Boardingham on the depth chart, true freshman. Liked him whenever we got him this past offseason. So maybe we'll get to see some of these true freshmen playing a lot. I would not mind that at all. But of course, the one everyone's talking about, who's QB1? Jack the Ripper Miller. He looks calm. I saw him on an Instagram feed in Vegas. He looks calm. He looks collected. We'll see what he's got. I'm really excited. Redshirt freshman. This is the time for him to prove. He has nobody behind him right now. Kyle Ingles is going to be backing him up. So this is his game to prove that, hey, I can be y'all's starter next season. Y'all don't have to look in the transfer portal. So he's going up against a really good Oregon State defense that is really good at stopping the run. That's what the Florida Gators want to do. So Jack Miller is a pocket passer. He is a thrower. So he's going to have to make throws, I believe, in this game, in order for the Florida Gators to have a chance. So, that's on the offensive side. On the defensive side, Princely, Uman Malin, I have really liked his progression ever since Brenton Cox left. He has stepped up. Desmond Watson, Chris McClellan at the nose tackle. I'm really hoping to see a lot of Chris McClellan, even Jamari Lyons. So, both true freshmen, Chris and Jamari. So, really hoping to see a lot from them. Desmond Watson, true sophomore. So, we're going to see a lot of that big man. Then you got AP Powell. So you got Antoine Ryland Powell. He has stepped up ever since the Brenton Cox release. So you're going to have David Reese backing him up. Jack Pyburn, the former 3-star recruit, true freshman. I'm hoping to get to see him, number 44 on the field. I've seen him on special teams a lot throughout the season. But, I would like to see him on that defensive side, maybe getting some good reps. So that would be pretty cool. Linebacker Derek Wingo. You're still going to have Amari Burney, Shamar James backing him up. Scooby Williams will be backing up Derek Wingo. Jadarius Perkins at the star position. And then at the cornerback position, you're going to have Jason Marshall and then Jaden Hill. Remember Avery Helm. He is transferring from the Florida Gators, so he will not be playing in this game. At the safety position, Trey Dean will be playing his last game for the Florida Gators. And then Rashad Torrance. I got the autographed card, Rashad Torrance. You got to make it proud. You got to make me proud. I've kept on to this. Y'all know a lot of me. I put on cards on this channel. I open some up, and I actually have an eBay website. If anybody's interested in that, I'll put the link in the description. Got a little plug in right there. Kind of perfect. But if you're interested in any sports memorabilia, I do have some Florida Gator stuff, Georgia stuff, all kinds of stuff on my eBay website. So if you want to check that out, that'll be in the description. So Kickoff return special teams is going to be your normal Trevor Etienne, kickoff returner, and Xavier Henderson. Punt return will actually be Ricky Pearsall. So sure hands back there. It says or Xavier Henderson. I look for Pearsall to be the return man. He's got the for sure hands. You don't want anything messing up. Special teams has been abysmal this year. We all know special teams and defense has been bad. And defense has been bad. Listen, Oregon State, they do one thing really well. Actually, they do a lot of things really well. They have a mobile quarterback. They run the ball very well. They average 176 yards per game on the ground. Florida gives up 175. Okay, that's going to be a problem, especially on the defensive side for the Florida Gators. If they cannot stop the Oregon State Beavers from rushing, it's going to be a long day. I do not see, and I really, in my honest opinion, I just don't see the Florida Gators scoring every single time on offense. Billy Napers, I think, is going to have a great game plan because he's had weeks to prepare for this game. The spread right now is 10. Now, I made a video a couple weeks ago, was like, man, the Florida Gators are going to get destroyed. We have no idea who the quarterback's going to be. Jack Miller being at the quarterback position puts me a little bit at ease that I don't think the Florida Gators will be blown out because you're going to at least have a guy. He has not thrown a single pass in real live action throughout the season for the Florida Gators. But, he was at Ohio State for a year. He's been with the Florida Gators. So he's been with at least this system for all season. He knows the system. I think they're going to have him prepared enough to know where to put the ball, to know where to go with the ball. I don't think they're going to make anything complicated. Jack Miller can still throw the ball. If you watch his high school highlights, or if you even watch him through the spring game, he had some nice balls that he threw, and then he just made some bad decisions with the ball. If he can clean that up, which I don't think Billy Napers is going to ask him to do too much. Listen, lean on your running backs, and listen, the running backs for the Florida Gators, it's going to be I think tough sledding because the Oregon State run defense is actually really good. They're I believe top 20 in the country on run defense. So I think the Florida Gators and Jack Miller is going to have to make some throws, but I don't think they're going to ask him to throw 40 times in this game. I believe 15 to 20 times Jack Miller is going to throw the ball. If he has to throw any more than that, I think that might spell a recipe for disaster, just because of a guy who has not been, he just hasn't been on the field for the Florida Gators. He has no rhythm with a lot of his players throughout the season. But if you can give him 15 to 20 throws, good play design, Ricky Pearsall needs to have a bulk of those targets. I think that'd be fine. I don't think Jack Miller, you're going to ask him to throw for over 250 yards. If he can get right around 150, 200, I would think at the most. Because that run game is just still really good. Listen, I get Oregon State has a good run defense, but man, if Florida can get that run game going, I'll tell you what, that's a disaster for Oregon State. And I mean the offensive line that I've looked at, like I said, me looking at the depth chart, I'm like, okay, I mean the offensive line is still going to be good. I mean, it's still going to be good. It's not going to be great. Of course, when you lose your best offensive lineman, it's not going to be excellent or great. But it's still going to be good. And a lot of these offensive linemen are coming back next year. I mean, this offensive line is going to be good going into 2023. So, I like the future. I do like, next year. Now, there's still some question marks at the quarterback position, at the wide receiver position. We got a lot of true freshmen coming in. So, it's going to be interesting. I'm excited. I'm getting a little more excited about this bowl game. I really am. At first I was not. I was like, oh my God, the Florida Gators are going to be destroyed. Looking at the depth chart, I'm feeling a little more confident that the game will be a lot closer. I think it's going to be a closer game than I thought originally. I think the line is still 10 points. I think Oregon State is still favored. They're either number 14 or number 17 team. I keep seeing number 14 or number 17. I mean, they're still a top 20 team. But, I think it's going to be under that 10-point threshold. I think the Florida Gators will I know people hate seeing this, but of course, y'all know I'm a realist. I think the Florida Gators will end up losing a close one. I think they'll make it close early, very close early. They may even get a lead in the second quarter, but I think Oregon State, with a lot of their players, they're going to have their starting quarterback. I think by the third and fourth quarter, they start to pull a late lead, and they end up winning 31-27. I'm going to give it a 4-point lead. I think Florida will. Why I say 27, Florida's probably going to score a late touchdown. It'll be like 11 points, and then Florida's going to score a late touchdown to make it within 4. Because this Florida Gator team, one thing that I have noticed all year long, they don't give up, man. This team does not give up. We saw last year, especially in the bowl game and at the end of the season, the team gave up. These guys don't give up. They fight all 4 quarters. That's why I'm saying I don't think it'll be a 10-point lead. As long as the Florida Gators got the ball, I think they'll score a late touchdown, make it within a 1-score game, because these guys are just going to fight. These guys are just going to fight. It doesn't matter what that scoreboard is. So, when you're playing this team, especially this year, you're going to be in a dogfight. I mean, Florida was 6-6 this year, but man, how many of those games were a 1-score game? Tennessee, Kentucky was a 10-point game. Late, Kentucky hit a 3-point, or what was it, a field goal to make it 10 points. Florida even came back on LSU late in the fourth quarter. They were down 3 scores. They got it. They actually had a chance to tie the ball game, but it just didn't happen. A penalty happened. But, this team, this Florida Gator team, it's always scrapping, always fighting. And that's the one thing that I really have appreciated from Billy Napier, because these guys are going to fight for him. And that told me a lot last year. These guys just didn't care. These guys did not want to fight for their head coach. And you see why. The mess that he made. So, but these guys are willing to fight for Billy Napier to the end and every game. So, I have appreciated that about Billy Napier. That's one thing that I think that gets overlooked. I don't think a lot of people talk about that, is Billy Napier gets these guys fighting for 4 quarters. I appreciate the hell out of that. I love that. I love it when a team, regardless, if they're down 10, if they're up 7, whatever it is, he's always got these guys fighting 4 quarters. So, and I think this Vegas Bowl and against this team, the Oregon State Beavers, the Florida Gators are going to need 4 quarters. But hey, guys, I appreciate y'all watching this channel. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great one.